What's up guys, and this is Gamer Tutorial bringing you a new episode of our game A Cell's Life. So basically in the previous episode we've made our saving, loading and etc. Well, today we are going to be making our cell, the food which our cell is going to be eating, our mini cell which is going to be pieces of the cell which you can like shoot in order to restore some systems in the body, which we are going to be adding in the future, and the wall. Okay, well, the wall is only like a, I guess 32 by 32. Yep, 32 by 32 image. It can be anything you want. Then go ahead and create a cell sprite just like that. And on every next frame, for example, this frame, your cell is very small. On the frame number 1, your cell gets bigger. Frame number 3, bigger, and so on and so forth until it gets to your size that you want. So anyway, make sure you've got that, which is mainly everything you need. Make sure to centralize it, then enter the modification. Well, here just go ahead and go down, enable the manual over here and type in 558787, and actually make sure all of your width and height is 101. Okay, so anyway, modify task 558787, and make sure the shape is disk. So you gotta get something like that. Okay, but enough from our cell sprite. Now next to the food. The food is also modified, but it's very simple. 22 by 22. Like, you can do it any color you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and use green because my menu background is green. So yep. Add the same thing over here, but over here don't put it at manual, put it at full image. It'll calculate it manually, but still leave the shape at disk. So when you're gonna do that, copy the sprite food and change the color to like as if it's a blood cell, so, and name it whatever you want. So it's basically a duplication of our sprite food. So after you do that, just go ahead and bring a new background. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it a BGR organism right over here. Make it like as if it's blood. So okay, now let's just go ahead and start our coding system. Just gonna go ahead and yes, save my game data. Okay, so make sure you've created a group organism for the sprites and for the objects. Okay, now go ahead and create an object. Call it obj cell, which is basically our main key for today's episode. So give it its own sprite, and now let's just go ahead and start coding. So add a create event right over there, execute code, and type in image speed is equal to 0. Then global dot cell is equal to 0 also. So now we have our variable or global cell is equal to 0, and we don't have any kind of animation working behind the scenes like automatically. Then add a step event, and over here concentrate because we're gonna have like a lot of codes. So whenever you put 2 dashes like that, that means that it isn't a code, but you can type whatever you want, like for example growth. This isn't a code, this is just a reminder. For example, if growth, and you write, I don't know, you write anything you want, so this works as a reminder. So whatever you wrote over here is like something dealing with the growth. But anyway, by that being said, that is only a text. Let's just go ahead and start our coding. If global dot cell is equal to 1, just like that, image index is equal to 1. This is very basic. So whenever our global cell is equal to 1, we get bigger because our second frame, as I've explained like moments ago, on every frame it gets bigger. So just go ahead, copy that, paste it as much times as much you've made like frames. For example, I have 23. I gotta paste like 23 times the same code and change everyone. For example, if 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5 over here, 6, 7. Gonna try to do this episode as fast as I can because we won't be able to fit everything in one episode, I'll tell you that for sure. 11, 12, okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, just like that. Okay, we got 17. Okay, paste it like until you get the right amount. Enter. Okay, so we got over here 17, put 18, 19, Almost there, guys. 20. Okay, almost there. 21. And eventually 22. And last but not least, we've got our 23rd. Okay, now we've got our growing system set up, but we gotta put 2 extra codes which will give the ability to not let the global cell be less than 0. So we're just gonna go ahead and call it if global cell is equal to 0, leave the image index to 0, and add another code over here, global dot cell is equal to 0. So that probably doesn't let the global cell to be set it up less than 0, so it doesn't give you the ability to have like -1, -2, like anything at the negative is always gonna stay positive. Okay, so then let's add one more code over here, just like so, and pretty much just gonna go ahead and leave a space over here just in order to see what's going on. So paste one other code and type in if global cell is equal to 24, image index is equal to 23, leave that at that, and global dot cell, if you're guessing it, then you're right, global cell is equal to 24. So we cannot get more than 23 and less than 0. So that's our growth system. Go ahead and go down right over here, and next we're just gonna go ahead and add one more text, movement system, which is basically our smooth moving system. So let's go ahead and enter this code. If global dot cell is equal to 0, just like that. Okay. If keyboard check pressed vk right, just like so, what happens? H speed is equal to, for example, 11. Okay, so now we've got our movement of the right button set up. So whenever global dot cell is equal to 0, right over here, whenever it's equal to 0, you really whenever you press your right button, you move like really fast. So next, just go ahead and set it up for the left, up, and bottom. So if keyboard check pressed vk left, open barracks, h speed is equal to 11. Okay, by that being set up, moving next to the upper button. So if I don't know what am I typing, if keyboard check pressed vk up, just like so, open your, I don't know how you can call these. Okay, if keyboard check press vk up, then you probably should get a v speed minus 11. So always remember, the left button is always at negative and up is always at negative, while the right is always at positive. And now we're just gonna go ahead and enter one more piece of code. If keyboard check pressed vk down is also always at positive. So remember that v speed is equal to 11. Now we've got our movement set up, but we cannot stop. So in order to fix that, just go ahead, go down, and enter 4 more pieces of code. If keyboard, okay, check released vk right, just like that, open, close, just like that, h speed, okay, is equal to 0. Now, whenever we release our finger from our right button, we can now stop. So just go ahead, duplicate that, paste it over here, change the VK right to VK left, just like so. A speed is equal to 0. So do this, then the same over here. Okay, if keyboard check released VK, now it's up, then V speed is equal to 0. Copy that, make sure that's in your copied bar. Okay, just remove this area over here. Okay, enter and paste. So excellent. Just gonna go ahead and give it like a little bit over here. Okay, a little bit over here and a little bit over here, just like so. Okay, so if keyboard VK down is released, then V speed is equal to 0. So basically this is our movement system if we only are at global is equal to 0. So if you're already logically thinking, then we're gonna copy this 23 times. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. just gonna go ahead and copy it. Okay, paste, 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 until you get like your needed amount. So I guess this should be enough. So go back up, right over, I guess right over here. That's a lot of codes. Okay, here we go. So now change this one over here to 1. I'm gonna leave everything in here, 2, okay, 3, and at the 4th one, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the speed lower. So gonna leave it at 10, 10, and eventually the VK up and the VK down is also gonna be equal to 10. Okay, so now we've got our global set is equal to 4. Okay, make it the 5. Do the same over here, 10, 10, 10, and probably this one's also gonna be 10. Do the same to this area over here. Okay, just like that. 10, 10. I know it's maybe boring, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do this whole system while recording, because if you don't like understand anything, so that'll be just perfect if you just that'll be just perfect if you just see everything how it's happening, like step by step, which will eventually help you more, and I'm sure about that. So leave it at 9, 9, 9. Next we've got our 9 over here. Also keep everything at 9, because this is basically what we're changing over here is our global cell. Whenever we get bigger, the speed eventually should get smaller. So this is what we're dealing with over here. So 8 right over here. Okay, do the same in here. We've got 8, 4 8s. Like remove every single speed over here. Whenever you want to change it, remove the past speed and enter the new speed that you want to basically use. So we've got our 12, 8, 8, 8, 8. Next we've got our 13, which I wanna keep at 7, because the bigger you are, the slower you must be. That's very simple to think of. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this system. The bigger you are, the slower you should get, and I guarantee this is gonna work like very smooth, like extremely smooth, guys. So this one is 15. Gonna leave it at 6 right over here. Okay, excellent. I guess it's now 16. Yeah, it's 16. You'll leave it at 6. Okay, and the 17 also is gonna be at 6, because I don't wanna like jump into slow speed like right off the bat. I'm gonna go ahead and make it like smooth, going like slower, becoming slower. But anyways, now I've got our 17. 18 over here. Okay, over here I'm just gonna go ahead and set it at 5, just like that. And the next, our 19 is gonna be 4, just like that. Okay, almost done, guys, just almost done. Give me a sec. Now our 20 is gonna be like once more 4, and from the 4 we're just gonna go ahead and go down until our speed is gonna be equal to 1. So 3, just like that. Okay, now 22, 2, almost there, guys, just last piece of code, 23, 1. Okay, great, guys. So all of this codes over here aren't necessary, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete them, just like a little bit more. Just give me a second, guys. Oops. Okay, delete that. So now we've got our our biggest shape and our lowest speed. Go ahead, copy in this one over here. Copy that. Enter it over here. One last piece of code. If now our global cell is equal to 24, our speed is gonna stay like that. We're gonna add image index is equal to 23, and global dot cell is equal to 24. So do that, and right at the beginning, if you're already guessing it, then you gotta do the same to the 0 right over here. So copy this over here, just like that. Copy it. Oops, copy like way a lot. So gonna copy this area over here, just like that. Copy. Okay, enter it over here, and now if it's smaller than 0, if it's smaller or equal to 0, you're gonna leave that and image index is gonna be 0, and global dot cell is gonna be equal to set to 0. So that's our movement and growth system. So make sure you have that over there. And next, I'm gonna add one more thing. If our cell collides with, oh yeah, just before doing that, want to create our obj food, just like that. Give it its own sprite, and you don't need to enter any piece of code over here. So just create one more object, obj mini cell, which I guess is gonna be in this episode, like part 1 of the mini cell in this episode, or we will have like enough time to do it in part 1. So anyways, obj wall, give it its own sprite. Next, just remove the visible over here, disable that, and set it to solve. Okay. Now enter the cell over here and add one last piece of code, like not the last one but almost the last one. If our cell collides with obj wall, go ahead and enter this execute code. H speed is equal to 0 and V speed is equal to 0 also. So now we've got our walls, which don't let us get out of our room. Okay, so now we've got everything set up, well, almost everything. Add another collision event over here for our food. So now enter this piece of code, instance destroy, and make sure you enable the other over here, the other, which basically destroys our food whenever we touch a food. Okay, so with that being said, enter another execute code and type in global.cell plus equals 1. Now we can grow, and yeah, that's basically great. So gonna save that. Gonna enter the organism over here, our room over here. First of all, I'm gonna enter the setting and give it like about I'm gonna make it like very big. I'm just gonna multiply the 640 by 2, which is logically 1280, and over here we're getting 960. Okay, so by that being set up, we get like not a very big room, but pretty much a good room. Do this, and now we've got our lines, which isn't probably very good, so just go ahead and stretch that. So we got our like blood system over here, which gets darker over here, gets lighter over here, gets lighter over here, and gets darker over here, which is just perfect. So next, gonna go ahead and go down over here to the end, enter the objects, and make sure you hold your shift, and I guess you can go up just like that. Just give me a sec. Yeah, and just hold on shift and keep on keep your finger pressed on the left press button of the mouse, and you should get something like that. Okay, now move over here, do the same, but now do it to the left, just like that, and we're almost done, guys. Oops, gonna finish up over here, do the same to this area over here, drag it up, make sure it's like very like straight, just like that. Almost done, guys. Just give me one more second. Okay, gonna do this, and we're pretty much done. So now we've got our walls, which aren't gonna be like visible because we just went ahead and disabled the visible over here. Okay, enter the organism one last time and put your cell like approximately in the middle. Okay, 320, 240. Okay, excellent. And we're gonna add the food, the random food, just like later, and maybe in part 2. But until now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put like a lot of pieces of food, just in order to check if our growing system works just perfectly. So do that. Enter as much food as you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, perfect. Just gonna go ahead and say enter, save our game data, and test our game. So just give it a second to save the executable. And as you remember, at our first episode, we've made our logo and our menu basics, so just give it a second to disappear. Then we made our saving, loading, and basically our creating world. So we got our fading system, play, create organism, enter organism, yes I am sure. So now we've got over here our cell, which moves like very smooth. So whenever we eat, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm getting like bigger and bigger and bigger. And now my speed is getting like slower and slower if you're looking carefully. So look how slow I am and look how big I am. So whenever I go over here, I cannot go further because we've got our invisible wall, which is basically stopping us. So now that we've got that, we cannot get out the room, and we move like very slowly. Next, we're just gonna go ahead and add the last piece of code for today's event, which is gonna be shooting our mini cells. So enter a mouse event, make sure it's global left pressed. So this basically means you can press anywhere you want and you can shoot, and enter this execute over here. If global dot cell is bigger or equal to 1, okay, just like that, and okay, and instance create mouse, oh wait a second, no, that mouse x comma y comma obj mini cell. Oops, didn't call it that. Mini cell. Yeah, mini cell. Just like that. Okay, I don't know what's not activated. Oh, I think this is not allowed. So just go ahead and put an underscore right over there. And over here, put this under. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so whenever we have like more than one, whenever our global cell is more than 1, we can now shoot. And else, which means if it's less than 1, set the global dot cell to, I guess, you know what, no, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this over here. If it's bigger than 1, you can now shoot, but if it's less than 1, then set the global to 1 right over, like right off the bat. And next, just enter one more piece of code over here. Global cell minus equals 1. So whenever we have more than 1, whenever our global cell is more than 1, we can shoot, and we lose one, like one cell, like one piece of drop from our cell, which means if we have like global cell is equal to 10, we shoot 9 times, and then we're gonna have our global cell not equal to 10 but equal to 9, because every time we shoot we get like -1 cell. And if we have less than 1, which is basically 0, set the global cell to 0. So that's that for our shooting system. Next, just enter the mini cell, and this is going to be our last event. Add the step event over here and do this. Move towards mouse X. Oops, forgot the S over there. And over here, mouse Y. And set the speed to 12. Next, just add a create event, which I like to do like alarm, set it to 80. And then, whenever this 80 alarm, this trigger finishes up, instance destroy. Excellent. So that's that. And yeah, that's pretty much great. Save that game. Save, and now just go ahead and test out your game. So if everything's working, that'll be just perfect, and we're just gonna go ahead and wrap up our video at this area over here. So just give it a second to load the logo and pretty much enter the game. So we've got our menu over here, cells live, okay, that is important. Play over here, create organism, okay, enter organism, yes, I am sure. We've got this, so whenever I press anywhere we cannot shoot, but if I eat one, we shoot like something over here. So as you can see, whenever I get big, like for example, if I am like at this shape over here, like at this growing system, like over here, just give me a second, okay, and now we're like pretty much very big, and our heart just sends us a signal that it needs like blood, which we are going to be adding like in the future. But here we go, our cell moving around. Whenever we shoot, we get this like small cell following the mouse, and after 80 it just disappears. And if you notice, whenever we shoot we get smaller, so I can shoot like as much as possible, as like not like now that I'm small I cannot shoot anymore. So that's basically it. So we've got our movement, smooth movement, our growing system. Just gonna go ahead and save that game data. We've got our shooting system, and that's basically it for today's episode. If you like this episode, sure to hit that big like button below, and don't forget to subscribe, because that helps me a lot. And yeah, if you get any problems, sure to comment in the comment section below. I'll reply as fast as I can. But see you in the next episode. Goodbye.